Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here, and today we'll be taking a look at Forced. No, this is not a game that was made by me, nor was it developed for me. This is actually a fast-paced cooperative arena combat game that is being made by BetaDwarf Entertainment, a Danish independent developer. Now the game is currently going through Kickstarter in an attempt to get funding completed to actually finish its development, and here in this video I'll be showing you 40 minutes of gameplay of an early build of Forced. We're going to be starting things off at the very beginning in what is basically just a tutorial. This is going to be just a brief little introduction to the game and all of its mechanics, and yes, I will delete my current progress. That is fine. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first 40 of Forced. I can't get over the fact that the game is basically my name. That's pretty hysterical, to be honest. Alright, so we'll be starting things off here in the tutorial, which will provide us with a brief little introduction to the game's mechanics and combat system. Now once again, this is a cooperative focused game. As a result, realize that in me playing by myself, it's not going to be fully fleshed out in the sense that I don't have the option of interacting with teammates because I am just one man. Now once more, this is an early build of the game. It is going through Kickstarter and attempting to get funded so that they can complete the game's development. Now I could have probably found some time to play with the developers. I really prefer to do these first 40 videos just by myself though. There is potential that in the future maybe we'll revisit it and take a full look at the actual co-op aspect. But for now, let's just talk about the game's gameplay and the basic fundamentals. Now obviously, as you're seeing here, I am firing a bow. This system works like this. We move around with WASD. It is an isometric top-down view. In fact, they describe this game as combining Diablo-style gameplay with cooperative gameplay that you're seeing like a Left 4 Dead. So Diablo style, obviously top-down isometric style of view. We move around with WASD. Depending on the direction your mouse is facing, that is the direction your character will face. And then holding down left mouse button is going to be to wind up the bow. The longer I hold it down, the more powerful it gets, and then I let go to fire. So that is the first weapon we'll take a look at. Second weapon here is this mace, two-handed weapon that has a large arc with its basic attack, again with left mouse button. I move around WASD. Direction I'm facing is based on the placement of my cursor. And then we just go around and we're gonna pop off these targets. So this is the second weapon type in the game. Now what this game does is, instead of having classes, it just has these weapon types, and depending on the weapon type that you use for each particular arena event, it is going to determine your play style, the type of character, I suppose you could say. But now, I don't even know why I would say that. It just determines your playstyle, you know? We've got these little two-handed assassin blades now, and this kind of turns me into a quick fighter, as opposed to the range one at the first one, and kind of the big heavy hitter that we saw with the two-handed mace. And then the last weapon, which we'll be seeing here in just one moment, I believe I got all of them, yes I did, is the shield. The shield, you still attack though, you attack with the shield, and you can also do some other things with the shield, but we're not taking a look at special abilities yet. Obvious benefit to the shield is that you have the option to also block incoming damage. So it still does do damage, but it also makes you a little bit more defensive. You get this little frost covering up for it, so you can get hit and that will deplete. Let me just show you that here. There you go, so that blocks, drops the frost covering, and I can just avoid the attacks as well just by moving around it. Alright, so that was an introduction to the 4 basic weapon types in the game. Now what you're going to see here, this little funny ball thing that's talking to me in gibberish, which is I suppose just a made-up language. And now I get to actually choose the weapon type that I want to use for an upcoming challenge. Let's go with these right here. I actually really kind of like the daggers. I like all of them. I find all of them interesting, and again, they do have very different play styles depending on the ones that you select. This quick hitting one though is pretty awesome, reminiscent of our good old buddy Ekrof. Oh yes, Ekrof. Now we're going to continue to go through here and see all of the available systems in the game besides these basic weapon types. Now this is just silly. I don't even know why they had you do this. They're just like, oh, stay and live as long as you can. This is super easy. I'm literally just holding down left mouse button and killing these stupid little invading mumbo jumbos. That's not their name. They've got a name, I'm sure. I'm gonna call them mumbo jumbos. Force, what is that? Don't ask me where I get my inspiration for things. I don't even know that you would call that inspiration. That's just silliness and shenanigans. There are too many of these. Please stop coming. I would like to continue the game. Someone once told me I talk like Christopher Walken. Does anyone believe that? That sounds kind of weird. I don't know that I believe that. Follow me, I will follow the orb. So yes, this is the Orb Oracle. This adds a very interesting dynamic to the game that we're going to see coming up. So, you know, you've got a fair idea of what the combat's like right now. Now, the next thing we're going to take a look at, I guess they're skipping the Oracle. I'll just explain these systems as they are presented in the tutorial. So the Spirit Mentor now will follow me around. When you're playing co-op play, you can use all players have access to the Spirit Mentor, but there is just the one. Now we're going to look at the combo point system. Now, it doesn't matter what weapon that you have, when you attack someone it applies a combo point, sometimes multiple combo points depending on how far you've progressed in the game. So I'm going to attack these guys, I'm going to apply some combo points, going to attack this guy and apply combo points. Obviously you can see the faster I hit, like with these daggers, the quicker those combo points get applied. Now, the Oracle is giving me my first ability. You can sort of consider this as like a leveling up system. The way it works in game is you unlock crystals by completing objectives in arenas, and then depending on the crystals you have, that gives you access to different skills. So we've got active skills right here in these two rows and passive skills right here. We're going to see more of those as we get further along. For the sake of this tutorial though, we just have access to this one right here, and we're going to apply that to our right mouse button. And that is a little, let me see info here. That is a power kick on a single target. It does damage per mark and a knockback per mark as well. So the more marks, the more damage that it does, and also the more knockback that it will have. All right, I hit F to drop that. So kick and does a lot of damage, and then it goes on cooldown. You can see that cooldown right over there. You're going to be able to eventually have access to a total of 3 skills, one for right mouse button and then for Q and E, and those would be represented right here as well. Also, they appear to be represented above your health bar. You can notice that there. So there's a kick, there's some knockback and some damage, and then they want me to do it again, so I will apply these marks and kick, and then I will apply these marks and kick. Ha 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 ha. Alright, now I'm going to follow the Oracle, and we're going to take a look at what this thing does besides speak gibberish to us. Now, when we're playing through the game, what we're going to be able to do is we call the Oracle to us by hitting space. And what's going to happen is wherever you hit space, that is where the Oracle will go, to that location. He's not going to follow me around. For example, if I go over here, you can see he's not following me. He just goes to where I was when I hit space. So we call the Oracle past these little shrines or braziers or whatever. Brazzers? Huh? What? We call the Oracle over these shrines, and some shrines will just be activated to progress to the next part of the arena. And some shrines will activate special abilities. For example, this shrine right here activates healing, and then what will happen is after passing over, a healing radius is put around the Oracle, and I can heal myself. Now I'm at full health, so that's why it's healing up for 0, but if I had lesser health, or not as much, it would actually heal that amount. Okay, so now we've got another one where we just have to activate these shrines. So it's all about positioning, where you are in relation to the orb, and then when you hit space is what determines if the orb is going to be able to pass over. Orb, Oracle, I'll probably bounce in between calling it both of those things. It's going to determine where it will go, and you need to make sure you get it right, because if I hit it in the wrong spot, I can't ever send it back, which is kind of annoying, because it just makes it very tedious. I wish there was a way to either cancel the orb's trajectory or to redirect it mid-combat. I suppose they want to add that skill, though, of being able to, you know, eye it and figure out where you are in relation and where it should be going, etc., etc., etc. I can see that getting super annoying. In fact, based on my playthrough experience with the game so far, it does get kind of annoying when you just barely miss the mark of activating a shrine. Yeah, it gets pretty frustrating. Alright, so we're going to chill out here. We're going to actually up into the trials area, and this is where the real game starts. The tutorial is over. It is time to actually take a look at some gameplay here in Forest. Stupid thing's gonna talk to us. Basically what's happening here is these are different trials or different arenas. And in each of these arenas there are various challenges that you have to complete. There's just basic objectives, but also there are 3 challenges for each one. So you can see trial 1 here, trial 2, trial 3, and you'll notice above these little doorways there are these little marks. Now when you complete the 3 different objectives, you can unlock the 3 crystals, and then when you have enough crystals, that is going to give you access to this final boss battle here. I don't believe anything else in this little town area really does anything. You can practice your combat here on this little dummy. That doesn't really do anything. And I noticed this little dead guy in a cage. That's just all, yeah, there's nothing really going on there. All that's really important in this area, besides I guess practicing combat on the dummy, which I don't know why you'd even need to do, is that we've got these 5 trial areas, these 5 different arenas, plus this final boss battle. And that's what I hope to show you, hopefully all of here in this first 40 video. Let's go ahead and start off with the first one. We're going to go ahead and press enter. Now upon accepting this trial, we're going to be brought into the ready area, the preparation hall. Mark, Great Warrior Preparation. So this is the preparation area where you get to pick between the 4 different weapons within the game. They've got actual names. There are the Spirit Blades, which are the ones that I currently have. There is also the Volcanic Hammer, which is this one right here. And then we have got the Thunder Bow. And then lastly, it is the Frost Shield. Now, which one will I play with? Well, I'll play with all of these. Let me start off, though, with the Frost Shield. This is the one I'm going to be using first. Now, while you're in here, if you hit F, that's going to bring up your skill selection, so we can go ahead and throw this skill right in there on our right mouse button. And again, let me actually leave... I don't need to leave this. So I showed you the crystals. There's 3 crystals, possible crystal unlocks above each trial. Those are sort of, they work as your levels. So once I've unlocked 2 crystals, I'll get access to the second ability. Once I unlock 4, I'll get my passive. 6, I'll get this one. Unlock 10 crystals, I get to use my Q hotkey for another ability active slot. And then my passive ones go right over here. So you make your way through the game. The more objectives you complete in the different trials, the more crystals you get to further progress. And it's not on an individual weapon basis. Like once I have 2 crystals unlocked, I can use the 2 crystal skill for this weapon, that weapon, that weapon, and that weapon. It's accessible for all of them. There's also a little progress bar that shows you your progress here as you make your way through the game. Just whatever, not important. And then we go over here, and this will bring us right to the trial. And now we are actually done explaining and taking a look at some full-on gameplay. So here's the first trial, the first arena within the game. We're going to see objectives pop up here in the upper right, which we have to complete. The first objective here is to activate the shrines. Now, with me doing this, there's also enemies coming, but the most important thing is just to complete the objective. That's all you really care about. That is the most important thing for you to do, and that is what you should focus on. Next thing is to kill the swarmers. And I can see those things drop down. I have this little guy right here, and passing through it is going to give me a little healing buff for my Oracle. So I've got a basic attack. My right attack, my first special ability, is a throw for the shield, which not only does damage, but it also increases my speed and the duration. All right, now I've got to activate these 6 shrines. So we're going to go over here, grab this one. And then right over here. Now, the interesting thing is when this game is done in co-op, as I said, it is really a co-op focused game, you can bounce the Oracle in between players. So if I've got a player, I could have my teammates set up next to these shrines, and when they hit spacebar, as far as I know, this may be incorrect, but as far as I know from what I've seen and researched on the game, the players can call the Oracle in between themselves. I'm 99.9% sure that that is the case. So as you can imagine, that adds a more interesting dynamic where players can space out to activate these shrines more quickly, whereas me playing solo, I've got to walk from one to the next and make sure I hit the right angle. You know what I mean? And that makes it kind of a little more annoying than it would be as playing with friends. All right, my next objective is to defeat the elite swarmer, and that is this guy right here. So I'm just going to focus on him. I'm going to damage him down. I'm going to throw out our thing, and there, he is dead. Congratulations, success. The first trial is over. And that is the game. This is how the game works. You go through these trials, and you've got these various objectives. Now, Oracle is talking to me yet again. Unlock new trials and abilities. Yes, I understand. Thank you very much. Now you can see I've unlocked 1 crystal, but there are additional crystals that I can unlock. I can get a crystal for not using the heal shrine, and I can also get one for beating that 125. Let's try to get at least one of those. I'm not sure if I can beat the 125, but I'm pretty positive I can do this without using the heal shrine. So we're going to go through this trial again. Don't use the heal shrine. That is my objective. And there's also the time to beat, again, as we mentioned before. Now you can imagine completing these objectives much easier with friends. So further reinforcing the idea that this is a co-op focused game and that you'll be better off with, and I almost just went to the heal shrine. I swear, I really just almost did that like a huge idiot. All right, so we're gonna kill these guys, and I am not actually sure here. Oh no, don't use it, don't use it. Oh gosh, I was so close. I almost. So the other interesting thing here about this guy about this little oracle is it's also considered like it's sort of like another party member, basically. And your vision zooms out in relation to it, just like it would if there were really other party members in your little area here. Alright, so we're gonna call it over here. We're gonna activate this shrine. Throw that thing there. And then we're gonna call through here, thank you. And I definitely don't think I'm gonna get the time objective, but I do believe we can grab the no healing buff one. And then call it over here. Please go through correctly, thank you. And then lastly is to defeat the elite. So we're just gonna go straight to him, and I'm gonna get stacks on him, throw my shield, which will finish him off, and there you go. So now I have a second crystal, completed the second objective for this particular trial, and that's gonna further me down the skill trees to unlock more skills for each of the weapons. You can see I unlocked the new skill there for that. So let me show you here. I'm gonna hit F, which will show you. So now I have access to that, and I can also just go and pick up these other weapons. And it's not weapon dependent. I've got access to the second skill for all of these. And I'm actually gonna try, let me try the daggers now. I really like the second skill for the daggers. It's this little charge here, which the cooldown is reduced based on the number of charges you have on a opponent. So that is pretty interesting. All right, so we've got that up, that's great. And let's go ahead and go out and try the second trial. All right, so first trial is complete. That unlocked the 4 additional trials. Now to get access to the final little boss battle over here, we need to have a total of 7 crystals. So we've unlocked 2 crystals so far. Let's progress our way through these additional trials and try to get a few more. Like I said, I'm not even gonna try to get that time thing yet. I think that'd be super easy playing with friends, but by myself, it's just not happening right now. And that's okay. I mean, you guys get the idea. I don't need to get every single crystal for you guys to understand how this works, right? All right, so a new arena, a new trial, a new objective. First of which is to destroy the statue. So what we're gonna do here, this little shrine puts this thing on fire. Now this is really dangerous. If this hits me, it explodes and I take damage. But my objective is to bring this through there and to make it blow up. Now I can also, watch this, use it against my opponents here. Just watch, come here, come here. There it is. So did some explosive damage, also managed to hit me in the process. I don't even know that there's a healing shrine in this one. I don't know that there is one. I think there may not be. So we're gonna continue here to make this thing follow us around and try to destroy these statues. Kind of annoyed that I took so much damage. Die as a result. I'm less than half health already. So the real cool thing about this special here for these daggers is that if you do it with a 5 stack on an opponent, it stays off cooldown. Otherwise, it's got like a 5 or 6 second cooldown or something like that. Okay, and then we're gonna call this through here, and I hope I don't take damage. There we go. Didn't take damage. All right. And we've just got to destroy the last few statues. Okay. And I'm gonna call this through. Now the one thing I can't have it pass through these walls. That's why I'm sort of making my way around the walls here. And then I'm gonna pass it through over here. So again, imagine if I had an ally set up over here, they would be able to just call it right away and it'd all be hunky-dory. Yes, I said hunky-dory. Now the other thing too is using this the stacking system. If you're playing with other people, you are able to activate off of their stacks. So I could place stacks really quickly with my daggers and then maybe have someone using, for example, let's say the 2-handed mace, and it's got this 5-stack ability that does a lot of damage with 5 stacks. We use that on them to kill them off pretty quickly. All right, so we're gonna call this through here. And then I'm gonna replace it over in this direction. And this is actually a pretty interesting one because I've got to call it across and then call it over at an angle to make sure that it hits that. There it is, and we have completed the trial. Now in completing it, we're gonna see what the objectives are. So we completed it, but there's also an objective to not take any damage. And I can also try to beat that time of 150. Well, let's try it here with the shield. And let's take a look here. The shield's second ability is a charge ahead, bashing foes while invulnerable. I like that one, kind of like the dash for the daggers. So why don't we grab that, and let's try to complete the don't take any damage or the beat 150, which again, these time things, I don't think I'll really be able to beat that well on my own. But we'll see. We will see. All right, here we go. Clock is ticking. All right. And I've already taken damage, haven't I? All right, let me restart the challenge. Oh, I love it. That is way too funny. I wonder what the best thing. I don't think that the shield thing is even going to be the best for this objective, to be honest with you. I'm gonna call this over here. There we go. Nice. That was cool. Okay, well, I haven't taken any damage yet. I'm still going for that challenge. You can see its objective in the upper right there. Wow, that's awesome. Now, I think the time was around 90 seconds. Yeah, there's no way I can do that solo. Or I mean, just me personally. I don't mean like it's impossible for anyone to do it solo ever. No, I can't though. I don't think. I don't foresee that being a possibility. That is really cool. I like that charge a little bit better. I don't know what it is, actually. I don't know that it's even that much more different, but but I do like it a little bit better. Don't ask me to explain myself. I can't explain this. So the thing that I find interesting about this, I mean, I'm just gonna come out and say this isn't like the most amazing combat in any single game that I've ever played. It's, I don't know, it's still really early on in development though, to be fair. But the thing that caught my interest about this game, the thing that piqued my interest about this game, is this little ball thing, this little oracle that follows you around, and it's also the puzzle solving. Now I go into this video having played these and kind of knowing these puzzles and what I had to do for each particular one, but when I first started, you know, it took a minute. I'm gonna figure out, okay, what exactly do I have to do? I didn't innately realize that this thing is going to blow up on me if I run into it. So when I first started, I did run into it, and it hurt because it blew up. So yeah, that's the thing here. It's a little, oh, you gotta, no, stop. Oh, damn it, you stupid ball. And you see, you got stuff like that, you know, you gotta get the proper angle and all that stuff, and the other thing too is I kind of like the way the different weapon types, or you could call it, again, you could sort of refer to it as classes, but the way the different weapon types and the play styles work with it. And I'll be really interested to see in playing cooperative how these things are combined. There's supposed to be all sorts of different combinations that you can do. Oh, thank the Lord I blocked that. Otherwise, that would have been another failed attempt. And we will go back through here. Please don't hit the edge right there. Thank you. I was a little worried there for a second. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna call it to there, and then we're gonna call it, oh, there it is, beautiful. And we did not take any damage, and as a result, we got ourselves another crystal. So I've unlocked 2 for the first couple ones. And we have now the passive unlocked for all the weapons, but let's leave this trial and go to another. Okay, so now we've unlocked 2 for the first one. Remember, we need a total of 7, so all I need to do is complete these 3 to have the 7 unlocked to go to the boss, which I will, as far as I can tell, not have a chance in hell of defeating by myself. Maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. All right, so we've taken a look at the daggers and that. Let's go ahead and try the 2-handed weapon this time. Let's hit F to bring up the skill tree. For these ones, I've got Volcanic Slam, which does damage enemies within 4 meters. More damage and knockback per mark. This one Also does more damage per mark. This is a little spin. I like this one though, so let's go with that. And then his passive, a fully charged attack, now adds 2 marks to enemies. So that is the passive here for this one. And we'll go ahead and do this trial. Yeah, it's an interesting game. It's a little bit different. I did briefly mention the combat and how it wasn't the greatest. I mean, it's very simplistic. It is very basic. It doesn't feel as impactful, I would say, as other, because they've described this game as trying to mix elements of a Diablo type of game with Left 4 Dead. It doesn't feel as impactful as, say, the Torchlight or D3 combat. It's definitely a little bit different, but it's also a much different game, you know? Got different gameplay mechanics. We've got the addition of that little oracle thing, which is interesting, and it's just different. It almost feels like more of a puzzle solver. All right, I gotta kill these swarmers. I don't know where they're coming. This little thing right here, what's gonna happen is if that timer goes all the way down, it summons some of these little things, these swarmers. There we go, there's a specific name for it. So I have to use the oracle to keep resetting it. And in later levels, there'll be multiple of these, and I've got to pay attention to their timers and where they are, and making sure that they don't get, you know, they don't go all the way down, and I'm screwed. So I gotta keep resetting this to make sure it doesn't go all the way down. Now obviously I'm a little bit overkill right now because it's not even close to reducing, going all the way down to the low time, but better safe than sorry, right? Especially now that we're coming up to more difficult things. Now we've got a higher enemy type, this brawler. Gotta make sure I stay back from his swing, which we're able to do. And now we've got some more shrines to show you, but before we do that, let me go ahead and reset this to make sure it doesn't summon anyone. And then we're gonna go back. So there's the shrine right here. In calling the oracle through it, it will knock by nearby enemies. It'll also apply charges to them. There it is. And then I can hit him with that. So you can see, you can imagine how useful that would be. I also have, and over here, I've got time for there. There's a healing shrine right over here. So I'm gonna call that through. Fortunately, I triggered that at the same time. And I'm gonna pull him to me by just continuously hitting spacebar, while I also go back to reset this to make sure I don't get screwed. All right. And finish him off with that. Wonderful. All right, oh gosh, didn't reset it, whatever. Kill another brawler here. He's coming this way. So we're just gonna stand right here, and then we're gonna trigger this, knock him back, do our right click for some heavy damage, and then finish him off. And then lastly, we've got a shield brawler. And before he comes back, I'm gonna make sure that this thing doesn't summon any more of those little dudes by resetting it. He applies shields here to his friends. That requires a hit to get even through. And I'm gonna knock off his shield and then call my guy back here. And that's gonna knock him back and do that. We're gonna do that. Hit him hard. And he applies a shield to himself. Knock that down. Hit him hard. And I think we can finish him off right here. Oh, a little close there. I took a lot of damage. All right, so now that we've completed that mission, let's go ahead and see what the objectives here for this are. And I got the second one. Okay, so you can see the first one was just to complete it. The second one was to not allow the shrine to spawn any swarmers. So I've unlocked 2 more now, and there's also a time to beat of 3 minutes. Not gonna bother with that though. We will go back and take a look at one of the few remaining trials. Continuing to kind of chew our way through this here. All right, so there's 2 more of those. And you also will have noticed that I've unlocked enough crystals to actually gain access to my third ability type. Let's go ahead and hit F here to see. The third ability type here is this Burning Aura, which we will actually activate. This pretty interesting. Consumes a mark per enemy and also deals damage and does knockback as well. More knockback per mark on enemies. So we're gonna actually go ahead and grab that. I think that is a pretty neat ability, and let's go ahead and try out this next trial. So yeah, I think the game's pretty interesting. I think it has a very unique combat. I think it's got a very unique concept. That's the word that I'm looking for. The one thing I will, of course, say is, you know, be careful of judging this when you're just seeing single-player gameplay, because isn't going to be quite as interesting without more people, given the fact that this is a co-op focused game. You may be bitter and screaming at me, Force, why didn't you just play with other people, you idiot? Well, it just really wasn't an option given that this is just a early build. I wasn't really able to set up, ended up doing this video on a whim, and I wasn't able to set up time with the developer to come out with some co-op gameplay, but maybe it's something in the future that I will be able to do. I think it's really going to depend on how interested you guys are in this game. If there is interest in seeing more content of this title, then maybe that's something that I do, but if the interest doesn't seem to be there, then, you know. So I'm going to leave that up to you guys. I do hope that there are some people interested, though, because once again, they are trying to go through their Kickstarter, and, you know, I gotta love the effort that indie developers put into these games. I mean, they really, you know, they put a lot of time and sweat into these titles, and I do want Kickstarters to succeed. I want people to accomplish their, you know, their dreams and their goals, as corny as that's gonna sound, and, you know, get funding for this game. Always put it on the market so that people can, at that point, once there's a full final version of this product, you know, make that judgment then, not just, you know, and being able to do it in their vision without having to deal with publishers wanting to change everything about the title, because that's really the problem. That's one of the reasons why this whole Kickstarter thing has seen so much success. It's because these, you know, these developers, and so much of a push, it's because these developers want to make the games that they want to make. They don't want to make the games that developers tell them to make. And this is a title that this development team has put time, effort, and love into to make because they like the idea. They want their concept to be fully created in their vision without any outside influence and any person or people telling them this is how you need to make it because this is what's gonna sell and blah 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 blah. And that's the problem, minus the blah blah blah. That's the problem that a lot of developers have to deal with when it comes to publishers changing their vision for a game. So that's enough of my rant, though, on indie development getting self-funded through stuff like Kickstarter. It's not really super pertinent to this particular title. Well, it is, but I mean, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to just show you this particular title. So let's continue to focus on that. So I'm using this firebomb now to go ahead and set this off, and the good thing is I keep resetting these that stops a majority of these swarmers from coming through. Otherwise it could definitely be a lot worse. And we're going to use my special here, which is going to consume those marks and do some damage accordingly. I'm going to call this guy over here. So you'll notice the camera will pan out if you keep the Oracle away from you. So it's another reason why you should keep them nice and close nearby. All right. And it's gone through, and I hope this doesn't trigger the fire here. It better not. I'd be annoyed. This is a speed increase one, which really makes my life easier. The one thing I don't want to do is that right there. Ugh, such an idiot. Sorry. I apologize, guys. I just didn't want to do that at all. Call this guy over. I'm gonna first order of business is to heal ourselves up, and then we'll get the fire guy going. Right after we have sufficient healing here, I'm just gonna sit within this. Okay, there we go. So call this over, don't let it engage with this guy. Excellent. And that thing is dead. So gonna bring him back down over here and call him through this. I think the other important thing to keep in mind when looking at this game, or looking at any game that's in early either alpha, beta, or just what this is just described as an early build. I don't even think they're considering alpha or beta because it's just that early in development. It's important to keep in mind that these games aren't finished, you know? And this game is not finished. There's only so much content available in this title, so. Only touch the leftmost spawner shrine as the last is the challenge for that. Not really necessary though, and for the sake of time in this video, we're gonna leave that one alone. And I have earned enough crystals to do the final boss. However, I'm not going to do that right now because I do want to show you the final trial here. I'm gonna go into a slow death. And for this one, I am going to use the daggers. Yes, I'm going to use the daggers. Yes? Yes, I'm going to use the dagger. Yes? Yeah, I'll do it. We're going to use the daggers here for this one. You might be wondering, Force, what about the bow? I'm going to use the bow for the boss battle. There's a particular reason. I feel like the bow's kind of bad. I think that the other things are, I don't know, they just seem to, because all the other ones are melee attacks. The bow attack, you can get overwhelmed really quickly, so it's kind of annoying. Now here's a pretty interesting one. We've got this fog here. If we go through it, we take, it's either damage or you get slowed down, or both, one or the other, but you need to keep disrupting this because it's going to spread out, and it's bad news bears when it does. Let me go into it and show you exactly what it does. Let me not guess about that. Okay, so if I hit it, I take damage, and I get slowed down as well, so it does both of those things. So I need to continuously call this orb through it to recede this fog here, or the mist, whatever. And I also got to kill these spitters. Ugh, damn you. Literally hit me right in the face. Hate. Whew. Alright, so I'm gonna get this guy here. I'm gonna kill these guys too. Okay. Go through and call this guy through the Mist Maker. That's what I call it. Ugh. Missed the mist? No. I missed guy before he died, and my thing had to go on cooldown as a result. I'm going to pull this back. Otherwise, this thing is going to continue to creep really, really far across the map. I mean, I think it may even very well potentially go all the way across, so obviously that is something that you would like to avoid. All I need to do is get 5 stacks on one of the guys I passed through, I believe, to have my thing not go on cooldown, which is awesome. And look at this mist, it's continuing to spread. Sneak across. Oh my lord. I'm gonna grab the heal thing after this. Thank you. Okay, you come with me. I'm gonna go over here and reset this again, and then we're gonna kill that last little spitter over there. That's what he said. And I really like this one that resets its cooldown based on the stacks that you have on a target. If you do it right, you can just keep doing it non-stop. And now I have to defeat the Ether Claw. Ether? Aether? Gonna do our 5 stack, go through. 5 stack again, go through. 5 stack again, go through. 5 stack again, go through. Taking a lot of damage though, so I might want to run to the healing shrine in a minute. Oh, he's so fast. Damn him. Oh, damn these guys. Woo! Oh, almost ended up dying there again. Alright my friends, so we are coming close to the conclusion of this video. What we're going to finish this off with is the final boss battle. I think that's worked out perfectly for a first 40, or pretty darn close. So we've taken a look at those trials. You know, again, there's obviously more that we could do in trying to unlock all the gems. I think by this point you guys have a fair idea of kind of what this game in the general premise is all about. Now we've got, after unlocking these, we've got the final boss battle, and my assumption in terms of how this is going to work, I cannot confirm this for you, but I'm assuming they'll just be other areas nearly identical to this that are going to have these different trials that end up in a boss battle, and that's just how you're going to progress and make your way through this game. That's my assumption. I mean, that's logical, you know, that's sort of like logical progression. That's what I'm assuming it's going to be. All right, we're going to pick up the bow for this one. Let's take a look here. We've got our passive, and I want to take a look at these Nova Bolt. Explosive arrow that does more explosions per mark. This got a little arrow that jumps between targets with marks on them. And then this one I turn invisible, marking enemies and petrifying them, which is a stun, basically. Why don't we get that? I like that, invisibility. Yeah, we can go wrong with that. Oh yeah, invisibility. Oh yeah, what's a cooldown on it? Oh, cooldown counts through your being invisible? That's OP. And a super OP. Now my marks aren't really going to do anything because I don't really have anything that triggers off of marks, were I to unlock 10, which I can't show you now, but were I to unlock the 10th crystal, what that would do is give me access to another ability that I could use that triggers off of marks. Or if I was playing with a friend, me marking people is obviously good for that reason as well. But for now, just being invisible, well, that's beneficial for the reason you assume. So let me show you what this guy's all about. This is pretty interesting. If you just run into him, what's going to happen is he's got this little knockback, and if you keep running through that, you're just going to keep getting knocked back. What you have to do is you have to sit idle during his knockback, and it won't hit you. That's pretty cool, huh? That's a pretty cool mechanic, I think. But yeah, if I'm moving when that knockback happens, like I've just done twice in a row now, you're in trouble. So I'm gonna go invisible, and that petrifies him, allowing me to get some damage off here. So I gotta pay attention to. Now the reason this is troublesome though is because if you're not paying attention, besides his knockback, he also has a charge. So it's like, okay, well, which one is he doing right now? Which one am I about to get hit with? That's what you have to concern yourself with. I'm gonna actually keep that thing back there. So there you go. So you see, I was expecting his charge. I'm assuming though they've got like different animations or something, so that's what I can sort of pay attention to, I suppose. So annoying. Now I wonder. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get this boss battle at all. I think I'm screwed here. So the problem is, if I stand still here against those, you can see these guys will just overwhelm me. It doesn't help that the archer himself, I don't think, is just, again, I just don't think is very good. At least not in solo play. Yeah, so I'm dead. Failure indeed. Let's give that one more shot, and then we're gonna call this video. I just don't think it's gonna work. Let me think here. Is there anything else I'd prefer to try? I'm gonna try the mace. I really kind of do enjoy the mace. I'll take a look at the abilities again. Got a little spin that I can do. We got that, which is a lot of damage. You know, the burning aura, which does have knockback associated with it. Maybe we'll give that a shot. All right, let's give this a shot, see if this works any better. I might give this 1 or 2 more tries, otherwise we'll just call it. But I guess now is a good time to start recapping this game. So once again, this is Forced, a fast-paced cooperative arena combat game that can have up to 4-person co-op is, I believe, what it's going to be set to have. If this game does finish through its development, which of course we hope it does, just for the sake of, you know, people making the games they want to, whether or not they succeed or not on the market, that's another thing. But you know, I like developers doing what they want with games, and that's why I enjoy Kickstarter titles so much. But it should be coming to the PC, Mac, Linux, 360, PS3 as well. It's being made by BetaDwarf and BetaDwarf Entertainment, a Danish independent developer, and they're describing this as a, damn it, as a mix between Diablo and Left 4 Dead gameplay. I hate you, you idiot. Go ahead and hit him with some marks here, and then do our little special there, which he just knocks me back from, so that's great. So there's this charge, and then run over to him, and by the time I get there, he's like ready to punch me in the face again. The one thing that's really annoying about this boss battle is that there's no healing shrine here or anything. Yeah, it's an interesting title. It's a unique, you know, it's a unique game. It's different. And I'm gonna die very shortly. So you guys just pay attention to that. You guys just get ready for that. What are you doing here? There's this charge. That's a lot of damage there. Not gonna be enough though. I hate you. Wish I had friends to help me, but I have no friends. and I'm dead. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching this look at Forced, the fast-paced cooperative arena combat game coming to you from BetaDwarf Entertainment. Once again, the game is currently going through the Kickstarter process. Now, as of this recording, there's about 6 days left for them. It does end on Saturday, December the 1st at about 4:30 a.m. EST. They've got a goal of reaching $40,000 raised. Right now, they're sitting at about $27,000. So that puts them roughly at $13,000 underneath their mark. So if you're interested in this game and you'd like to see it come to life, I suggest going to the Kickstarter page and donating. You can find out more about the game there as well. They've got a few different videos describing some more of the title in detail, if there's anything that I may have happened to miss, which there most likely is. Thanks again for watching this first 40 look at Forced. Sounds so funny to say that. My name is Forced. There's a lot of F's in these sentences. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe, and as always, keep watching and keep owning.